So, it's irresponsible to live around blacks? Coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense, Logic, and Reason. And as always, I want to say thank y'all for joining me today. So, Nick Fuentes is no stranger to controversy. Okay, he's never shied away from controversial topics. Now, Nick Fuentes is basically, he identifies with the alt-right, and it stands for alternative right. Now, these are a group of white people who believe in the preservation of white. In other words, they should preserve the white race. No different than the pro-blacks with the fist in the air who's saying that black people should be with black people, Dr. Umar Johnson, right? But he basically made a controversial statement saying that he basically said that it's irresponsible for white people to live around blacks or anybody. And again, he said he doesn't want to live around black people because, well, he spoke on Chicago saying that if you're in Chicago, who are you concerned about is going to rob you? Who's more likely to rob you or carjack you? Who's more likely to commit murder? Who's more likely to be violent? You know, and because basically it makes him nervous to be around black people. And basically, you don't know if you are around a black person, you don't know if it's going to be one of the good black folks or one of the bad black people. And it just makes him nervous. Basically, he was commenting on the incident that happened in Frisco, Texas. This was the incident in which the high school student, white student, Austin Medcalf, who's a junior in high school, was fatally stabbed by Karmelo Anthony, who was a black student. I believe he was a senior. And this happened at a track meet over an incident that took place in a tent, over a tent, school tents or whatever. But essentially, we haven't heard any really news about this. This has been actually very quiet in the media, and we have not heard from the real usual suspects. I haven't heard anything from the real usual suspects. Only Tariq Nasheed said something about that I heard, and he basically accused Austin Medcalf of being a suspected white supremacist. Now, if it was the other way around, and if Austin Medcalf would have fatally stabbed Karmelo Anthony, then we would hear it'd be all in the media, and we never hear the end of it. All these, the real usual suspects will be making all these videos crying about racism and white supremacy. Anyway, so is Nick Fuentes wrong? Well, Tommy Sotomayor has the snake analogy, and in this analogy, basically asks the question: if not all snakes are poisonous, but there are poisonous snakes. So should I deal with the snakes and sift through the snakes to try to make sure if I'm dealing with a snake that's not poisonous, or should I just avoid all the snakes altogether because I don't know? And essentially was the argument that Nick Fuentes was making here. Now, you want to call him he called him a racist and a white supremacist regardless, but you know what? I don't care what he says that, because it really doesn't affect me or impact me at all. But I say this: if black people leave the hood or black community when they get money or whenever they have the ability to, then how can anyone get mad at what Nick said here? I don't understand it, because I agree with him. Hell, I've heard lots of black people say the same, not want to deal with N-words. Well, as a black person, we're more likely to be able to identify a decent black person from an N-word. But what about people who are outside the black community? Are they able to do the same? So, like I say, I don't think he's wrong. I completely agree with Nick Fuentes in what he said here, in the sentiment that he made. And people, it's not like it's the only time it's done, because I've heard people also say the same thing about Muslims, Islamics. Again, I don't know if this is a peaceful, a person who's Arab, who's peaceful Arab, just want to live somewhere, or if there's one of these Islamic extremists that creates problems everywhere they go. We don't know. So it's not like it's just something that people say against black folks, but regardless, I can't blame him for what he said. And like I said, as long as black folks are willing to leave the black community, when they get money, nobody can really get mad because black folks are doing exactly the same thing. Anyway, like I said, as far as this whole white alt-right nonsense, the alt-right is the least of my worries. I've never left anywhere, went anywhere, and would thought about, my God, I need to watch out for these alt-rights. I'm looking out for the N-words that he is talking about. And many other black folks will do the same. Anyway, y'all, that's my 2 cents on this, and I can't disagree with what he said. I agree. And many blacks have agreed by their actions. And as always, y'all, until next time.